bigger crowd here today for this game. And of course, this rivalry between them as neighbours in the southeast.
Yeah, I think we expected a shootout yesterday. And, you know, in some ways you got it. You know, I mean, there was goal chances clear, a flurry of goal chances. Tip scored 28 points and, you know, their forward sector were really good. Like, today is all about the middle third. You know, they'll just really... It'll be a meltdown and a battle in there in that middle third. And the question is who can get the quality ball out of that middle third into the forwards and create the scoring opportunities. Like, I do hope we don't get something like, I suppose, back to the league final last year. It was Davy against Derrick in the league final the first day. 15 points all, a dour affair. There was 30 scores and there was 35 wides. So that's the danger when you start to get a match-up like this, because there'll be a huge amount of tactical work and overthinking this going into it. So it'll be interesting to see how they set up, and it'll be interesting to see how the game patterns out. But you'd love to see a goal early on and this thing to open up. But we've got some class players on view and a huge prize at stake again today. Yeah.
How do you think your former colleague is going to play this one from a Wexford point of view today?
Yeah, Michael, I suppose he'd be disappointed really with the Leinster final now. He'd probably accept that it was a great achievement to beat Kilkenny and a milestone for them. Already having won 1B, so... You know, it possibly was bonus territory, but at the same time, he wouldn't like to be fading out like that at the end and beating 9. You know, a lot of talk about the Dubs and Kildare. You know, they gave him a good match of it, but still beating 9. But it wasn't quite like that. They probably dominated possession more than that, but didn't put it on the scoreboard and conceded 29 points, which is, you won't be winning too many games conceding 29 points.
All right, lads, well, let's go down pitch side right now to join Joanne Cantwell. And Joanne, no doubt you are looking forward to this, like the rest of us, this very big occasion.
Yeah, there's been this great buzz around Cork since very early today. Clearly the Wexford and Waterford fans taking heed of that warning to arrive early, because they got here very, very early, and that's why we already see the stadium quite full already for this match. Now, they're all looking down at this pitch, probably most of them for the first time. And there was a lot of talk yesterday about a lot of players slipping during that Clare and Tip match. So I spoke to the groundsman at Porky a little while ago, Stephen Forrest, and he was sitting there and he said he took notes of every slip that happened. He said there were 6 in total from the same 3 players, and each of those players was not wearing a stud as they had been advised to do so, and that he reckons that if they were wearing the stud and it was in the same place as part of the pitch, just 6.5 metres in from the sideline here, if they were wearing a stud, he reckons that those slips wouldn't happen. Obviously a new pitch, it's going to take time for it to bed in anyway. Besides, hopefully we'll be talking about the players on the pitch as opposed to the actual surface itself. So let's get all the team news for Waterford against Wexford with our big match commentator Marty Morrissey.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Joanne. And we're really looking forward to this match. Waterford and Wexford, of course, meeting for the second year in a row in an All-Ireland quarter-final. And this time, 12 months, Waterford won by 10 points. But much has changed in Wexford. Wexford seeking a place in an All-Ireland semi-final and a victory in a quarter-final for the first time in 10 years. I'm joined by a good Tipperary man. We're friends again after yesterday, Brendan Cummins. But right now, let's check on the Wexford team. We believe there are 4 late changes. The number 1 man on Slaney side is Mark Fanning. The Glen Barntown hurler has been first choice since Wexford goalkeeper as the Wexford goalkeeper for the last 4 years. Will Deverex, Liam Ryan and James Breen have established themselves as Wexford's full backline since Davy Fitzgerald came to town. Wexford joint captain Matthew O'Hanlon is a powerful presence at number 6, with Owen Moore now being placed at right half back and Dermot O'Keefe on the other side. The left half back from St Anne's scored 1-1 against Galway in the Leinster final. Sean Murphy plays a crucial role in the Wexford strategic plan, but here comes the second change. It's a big day for 18-year-old Rory O'Connor, who's essentially a midfielder come wing forward in this All-Ireland quarter-final. David Redmond, after a number of cameo performances as a substitute, finally gets his place on the starting 15. The performance of Lee Chin is once again imperative, while Jack Guiney completes a strong line. The Waterford full forward line now sees Conor MacDonald at the edge of the square, with Taj Dorn being named at top of the right and Paul Morris on the other side. Stephen O'Keefe's saves against Cork in the Munster Championship has been one of the highlights of this summer. The Ballygunner man has been in outstanding form and solid under pressure. The Waterford fullback trio work well together, and in Shane Fives, Barry Coughlin and Noel Connors, the Dacia manager Derek McGrath has an inner line as good as anywhere else in the country. The battle between Lee Chin and Austin Gleeson could be the battle of all battles and may well decide who goes through to an All-Ireland semi-final. On the wings for Waterford are 2 really good hurlers in Ty de Burka and Philip Mahoney. All-star hurler Jamie Byrne has been brilliant for Waterford this summer, and with his clubmate Conor Gleeson from 4 Mile Water beside him in the middle of the field, they make a very, very strong combination. Kevin Moran is the Waterford captain and leads from the right wing of the attack. Jake Dillon is the only change to the team that started against Kilkenny, while Pádraig Mahoney, as usual, is at centre forward. Michael Brick-Walsh scored one of the goals against Kilkenny and is strategically placed at full forward. Shane Bennett and Dara Fives are in the corners, but the number 15 will surely ramble around midfield. For the two managers, there's a lot at stake here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Terry McGrath is in his 4th season in charge of Waterford, while his good friend Davy Fitzgerald is, of course, a former Waterford manager and is enjoying his very first season on Slaney's side.
It's great to be wrought off so much, and everyone has us done that way, but we believe we have a chance, and we're going to go out there and give it everything.
Do you play in that? Have you got things hung up in the dressing room walls?
Listen, sure, there might be bits here and there, so there might, you don't know, but we're looking forward to it, Joanne. Whatever it brings, it's going to be a massive battle with Waterford. We know that. I'd have massive respect for them. I know the way they play the game, and like, in my honest opinion, I think Derek was right to go back playing the game that suited Waterford, and it hasn't done him any harm whatsoever. It'll be a tough one out there today.
And yet you think when it comes down to those tactical battles, because I saw John Milan yesterday referred to the two of you as identical twins of hurling management, does that mean you have to pull something out different and unexpected today?
I don't know what we'll have to pull out. I just know I want to win by a point if I can, if that's possible. The whole game's going to hinge on the middle third. That's what's going to happen today. That's the bottom line.
And where are you going to watch it?
I don't know. We'll find out now in a while. We'll see what happens, all right?
Because it is you against him, does that make it an even bigger deal today, the two managers getting it right?
No, not really. I think it probably does for your own perception. But our tactic today is to represent our family and friends and our supporters with everything we have inside, you know. And sometimes that gets lost in the talk of system, etc. Like, we're here to do our absolute best for everything we represent, everything that's good about this Waterford team, and Davy is doing the same, you know. And sometimes, as I said, the narrative is slightly different for depending on what team you're involved in.
But the systems do play a big role, don't they? Particularly for these two counties.
Yeah, 100%. They'll probably mirrored systems, which means irrespective of if you set up with a 7th defender, you'll have one naturally because Davey will set up with them. So I think that maybe gets lost in the commentary at times. So like last year when we played Wexford, we didn't play with a 7th defender, but subsequent to that we had one because of how Wexford set up. So sometimes it's over to you in terms of that and in terms of the analysis. I'm sure you'll get it right.
We shall see who gets it right. Now, amongst the big crowd here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh are two men who, in their own words as they were walking down here, bet sticks off each other for many, many years. That is Wexford's All-Ireland winning captain Martin Storey alongside Tony Brown, who gave 23 years of service to Waterford. Tony, just listening to Derek McGrath there, how much pressure is he under today?
Well, look, I suppose in this business now, Joanne, you know, it's a serious business now, GAA and inter-county management, and you know, it's getting more like Premiership every day, you know, and I just think that Derek is under no more pressure than he was in the Kilkenny game. It's a big game here today. There's a big prize on offer in All-Ireland semi-final play, so, you know, there is pressure, but I think over the last 4 years he's learned how to cope with that pressure. I think the players have learned how to cope with the pressure, and I think, you know, going on today's game, that experience, both on the line and the players on the field in this type of environment, it should really stand to him.
But from within Waterford, is anything less than, say, an All-Ireland final, or perhaps a step further than that, acceptable?
Yeah, well, look, I suppose it's no surprise really that Waterford have put everything into the championship this year, more so than the league. And I suppose this is Derek's 4th year in charge of the team, and look, he's looking for one thing only, and that is to get this team to an All-Ireland final. Now, I think that'll be a huge achievement. And that's what he's looking at, but he knows how dangerous this game is today, particularly against the Wexford team with Davy Fitz involved. You know, he's a very intelligent guy, and he knows the challenge that's going to be ahead. So, you know, I really think today is going to be a 50-50 game, but I'm just hoping that the experience gained from Derek, Dan and these guys on the line and the players will just pull them through at the end of the day.
Yeah, Martin, there was this little sort of telling smile from Davy Fitz during his interview. How much expectation is on Wexford? Like, you've come from Wexford. What are they expecting from today? Are they expecting to win?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, honestly, I don't think they're coming down to make up the numbers or be the second team. I mean, there probably is a bit more pressure on Waterford because they've been there. I mean, like, we haven't played in as near as many big games as Waterford, so they have that experience. But we have the hunger. We need it more.
They're quite hungry too now.
Yeah, but they've had an awful lot more big days out. So our lads will be a lot more nervous. But that nervousness that you have as a young player and something that's seldom, is often will drive you on a bit more, you know, because the Waterford lads will know that what it's like to lose big matches. Like, we haven't been in them really enough to know what it's like, so we won't be affected by it.
I can see the beating the sticks off each other is continuing verbally here. Martin Storey, what did you make of the Wexford changes?
Well, it just shows that Davy, is fairness to him, he's taken the game by the scruff. He's made 4 changes, quarter of a team. So obviously he wasn't happy with the way the Leinster final, and that sends out a great message to the panel. That change sends out a great message. If you're not doing your job, you'll be out here. And I mean, I just look at our half forward line. I just looked at there's 3 catchers out, and he's after bringing in Podge Thorne, 6'4". It's if we're going to play a long ball rather than maybe short ball. And I'm hoping that will happen. That we will put the Waterford full back line under pressure. That we'll play most of the game attacking rather than the defensive set up behind the ball.
That'll be fascinating to see. Martin and Tony, thank you very much. And Michael mentioned a little bit earlier about the size of the crowd. Well, there were 28,500 here yesterday. They've sold more than 30,000 tickets here for this game, and they're expecting a few more than that as well.
I think, Joanne, they will get them. But let's just talk about those changes, Liam Sheedy, on that Wexford team. Martin Storey was mentioning it there. The one thing that we notice about it is those changes are all down the right flank. What's that telling us?
Yeah, well, look, I guess in the modern game, Michael, you're not really sure where they end up. What I would say is that definitely he wasn't happy with that area of the field, and that sector of the field in the Leinster final. I just, myself and Sir were just chatting about when we seen the 4 changes coming in. The one thing we said is that's not going to weaken this Wexford team. That's certainly the case. David Redmond's in really good form. I think he'll start centre forward, and Lee Chen will push back out the middle of the field. So I think overall Wexford are saying all hands on deck. Let's go for this.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, there haven't been too many meetings between these counties until the expanded format came into being.
In terms of your distribution from the back, because you only have 5 up front. Now, the last day, I think you've seen them at their worst, because at times, because when Killian Buckley was the free man, here's Dara Fives, he's launching ball down, Killian Buckley's just snapping it out of the sky. So they've really got to think about their distribution, because that type of ball, Sean Murphy will do the very same thing today. Whereas if you look at it here, when Shane Five gets it, he's taking a look. He's looking to find a man, Austin Gleeson, who was given very much a pivotal role the last day. And when they get the ball, when Waterford are in possession, they have guys that can run forward. Now, the good thing that Austin done that time is he went straight for goals. He headed down the flanks, and that's important. But here's the puck out to Conor Gleeson. Now, again, I know he's named midfield today. He'll go back and he'll do a man-marking job. He man-marked Richie Hogan the last day. He's a nice flick pass out to Philip Mahoney. He gets it out to Tyg de Burka, who's drifted forward. And again, critically, they had 2 guys inside. And Shane Bennett gets it, does a great turn, and I suppose not too often we see this, but Rick Walsh had worked himself into a really good position into the back of the net. But I think you see Waterford at their best when they do find a man, and here you have Austin Gleeson. He's a good man to find in the right position. He got 5 points in play, but you can see there, Michael, they've nobody inside the 30-35 yard line there. So I think that's what Waterford have to do. Their distribution is going to have to be spot on, because they don't have the level of 6 players up there in there to make the real difference. They've got to work the ball up.
Fair enough. Okay, Anthony, we heard Joanne talking to the managers about the sweeper system, of course, which is part of the setup of these 2 teams, very similar. We're going to have a look at this in a moment. Just before we do, just give us the brief on what we should be watching out for.
Yeah, Michael, look at it. It's a dirty word for some people in hurling, but it's a reality out here today. Derek touched on it. Even if one team does it, the other team is forced to do it. So both teams do it regularly. Fitzy has employed Sean Murphy at it this year. I think he was a little bit spooked by Colin Fennelly and the trouble he caused them in closer to goal. So he deployed him further back against Galway. I think it backfired a little bit. Tyg de Burka is more used to doing it. I mean, this is his 4th season doing it, really, and has been superb at it. And Liam touched on his distribution. Maybe at times can be a little bit better, but he reads it superbly and cuts out the danger, And we can look at it like they're contrasting styles a bit. I said Fitzy was looking for a guy with speed, good first touch, good vision. Now, his distribution the last day wasn't hectic, but it was good early on. He covered well. It seemed to be working. They led 9 points to 6. He's in the right place at the right time. But I think the Micheál Donoghue and Galway copped it, Michael, and they just said, look, let's try and feed it short of him. He's lying deep. Now, Conor Cooney was in irrepressible form, and Simon Donoghue, what a job trying to mark him. But we see there, Sean, it's just out of the play completely. Again, here, Conor Whelan breaks it to Joseph Cooney. And again, 29 points. Would you be better off to concede 218? Waterford, it doesn't work all the time for them, and a lot of people say they will never get the whole way to the All-Ireland with it, but Tyg is very, very used to it. I love this bit here, really, Michael. This is sensing the danger. This is TJ and Philip Mahoney. He kind of smells the danger here and says, he needs a hand here, I get over. And he gets across. Now, surprisingly on the day, I didn't think Kilkenny shoved up on them until about the last 10 minutes when they really had to. And when they did, they really put him under pressure. And when I'm looking at this, that is what you need to do to get at him. And actually, the goal came off it when they shoved the 2 Fennellys right in on top of him. And by looking at the way Wexford have picked their team as well, Michael, I think Podge Doran could be teed up to get in on Tig all the time.
Yes,
You know, keep
yes,
coming out with
yeah.
him, leave Barry Coughlin loose if they want, and that they'll crowd him as often as they can. Really say that target him, don't give him handy ball to set up the attacks like we saw in the better part of the distribution.
Because I suppose, Cyril, it's stating the obvious to say if Wexford get the system right, get enough possession, they have the forwards that can do damage.
Oh, they have very good forwards, like, and there's no doubt about this, Conor MacDonald here, like, you know, like lovely crossfield ball here, like has a vision, lovely pick cross here, like bang over the bar. But like giving a ball like that, Noel McGrathy did yesterday. When you do that, you open up the back line, and he's capable of picking up. Now he wasn't hectic against score, but yet he did some great scores. Like here again, out wing forward, has one pop and bang over the bar. Now again, there's only one inside, much like the Waterford thing. There won't be that many in there. They have to be very accurate from outside. Again, he's staying out from the ruck this time, which is unusual because usually he's inside the middle, but he gets it here again. And even though you think he didn't play that well, he was still very accurate. Might have missed a free or two, but like on form, he's one of the big players. He's very young, but one of the big players. And this fella, Leachin, when he plays well, Wexford play well. Now that was a great catch against Kilkenny. Again against Galway, he was kind of quiet. He was out midfield. He wasn't doing it out. But when you see him even long range free here, like he's way out about 80 or 90 yards, brought Wexford right back into it. He's the spirit of the Wexford forward line, and when he takes a run, he's an athlete. We watch this lovely ball out here, has a look up here, travels up along the side, left to right. It doesn't really matter to him. And I thought he was going to loft it into the full forward, but he had a little look here. No one coming to him, bang over from outside. Now you're going to find today they're going to need the two of them really playing well. If they really play well and are in the game, it'll be a big plus. Now I expect what Anthony's saying as well, that I can't see David leaving Tig de Burke loose. He's definitely going to mark him and let someone else loose if they want to, because he is kind of the guy. He's the conductor of the orchestra for Waterford.
All right, Liam, as we can see, the teams are parading around the new pitch here at Páirc Uí Chaoimh. We have two teams on the pitch. Only one of them is going to Croke Park. Which one?
That's all. The final slot available, I guess. Look, I think we'll get a real battle here. I think Waterford, obviously, like they've contested 10 semi-finals since 2000. Wexford have contested 4. I think Wexford progress year to date has been superb under David. They've made real progress. I just think they're not as far down the road as this Waterford team. The pressure is on Waterford, though, and Davy knows that, and he'll be coming in to give this the right go. But I just feel that Waterford have that extra little bit that'll see it over the line, but not without a ferocious battle to get there.
Anthony?
Yeah, I'm expecting a big battle. Like the big thing for Waterford now, Michael, is does victory over Kilkenny liberate you since 1959, or does it start you thinking, I want to see the finish line? And that's the danger for them. Like they just have to deal with one day at a time. I think they should have enough today off the bench, maybe. Do you know? Looking at Stephen Bennett, Brian O'Halloran, these guys can come in and make a huge difference. Young Curran, like another top player. We saw him in the 21 match against Cork. Like he's a super player, so I think they'll probably have enough overall to get over the line.
Cyril?
Yeah, I would fancy slightly fancy Waterford as well, but I'd have to say that the changes Davy has made is a lot stronger team out. He'll upset them because like Podge Doran is strong around the square, Rory O'Connor around the middle, Redmond, like even Anthony was saying before, and he didn't understand how he wasn't on. He's on now, like, and Owen Moore. These lads won't. He's actually a stronger team out. The middle third is going to be vital. If Wexford can stay in it for a lot of the game, it's going to be very tight. But you'd expect Waterford, they're further down the road than Wexford, and expect them to get there in the end.
3 votes for the Daisha up here on the panel. Let's see how it all works out. By the way, a reminder that you